Hi and welcome to Subaru1, and today I'm going to take you through what spare parts you should have for your 3D printer. Now we're going to start with some of the parts I have spare. So this is one of my two spare heated beds. Now my original stock bed broke. I fixed it in another video. However, if it goes again, I've got my spare one ready to put in. And one of the nice things, it's a full PCB heated bed. It's a Mark III rather than the rubbish Mark 1 I've got. I also have two spare hot ends. These are original hot ends that I've used on the printer. This is an E3D Lite 6. The other one is an E3D China clone V5 that my printer came with. And I'm currently running a China clone of a E3D V6, and that's much better than both of those. But I do recommend having a spare in case either break. The next batch of spares I'm going to show you is fans. The little fans that come with your 3D printer that you get with most of your parts, the wires tend to wear out and they break pretty easily. So I've got a couple of 30mm and 40mm fans being shown here. If we actually look at the printer as well, I've got radial fans on there, so I should be ended up getting some spares of them at some point. Again, most of the spare parts I'm going to show you as well, they only cost a couple of pounds. The heated beds were about £6 to £7 each, the fans were about £1 each. And I'm now moving on to the heater blocks. And this is going to be quite covered in another video that I'm going to do. But the heater blocks are really dirt cheap. They're about £1 each again. I think I got a couple from China for £1.50. Now that's my original heater block from my official E3D Lite 6, and it got quite chewed up. I'm going to cut away to a picture on that in a moment because the focus isn't great on the GoPro. But I had issues where the plastic was seeping between the nozzle and the hot air and the heatsink. Okay, and the next thing we're going to go through is probably the most expendable bit most people could use on the printer, and it's your nozzles. I can buy these for £2 to £3 for a pack of 5 from China, and I'll be honest, so far I've found to be about exactly the same as the really nice nozzle that came with my E3D. Maybe a tiny drop in quality, but they're really close. But I went through hot end issues a while ago and ended up clogging them and getting burnt plastic around the threads. I mentioned earlier, I'll cover that in another video. We'll just have a quick look. We've got a nice new nozzle there. We've got a couple of the used ones. Now they can be cleaned up as well. Now these are the pneumatic connectors that use for PTFE tubing, and I'm trying to press that button there on this one and it's just not pressing. If I get a nice new working one, you're going to see that button actually clicks in, so you can see the resistance that pushes it back. I've gone through 4 or 5 of these so far, and as soon as they go for your PTFE tube lining, that's it, that's your print's done, because unless you can get that stuck down, you're just not going to be able to get the filament through to the printer. Again, you can pick those up for about 10 for £1. Next thing leading on from that is PTFE tubing. It does wear out in time. If you end up having problems with your hot end, then you're going to end up needing some more because of it can end up burning the PTFE tubing that's in there. The same thing to do with having spare hot ends. I've acquired some spare heater cartridges. They're just worth having and putting to one side because of, again, if things go a bit rogue or if something gets on your heater cartridge and shorts it out, you're going to want a new one. I've got spare bearings, so my X-Courage uses LM8U bearings, and I've also got bearings that I use in my extruder as well. Now again, they're only £1 or so, but having all of these things spare, if anything does break or does go wrong, I can just quickly take it apart and I can have the printer back up and running again within like an hour or two. So there's other things I've not shown you because I don't have the spares of them yet myself, but things like your drive belts, you're going to want spare ones of those. You might actually want to consider a spare PSU. Mine isn't making great noises when it first gets turned on, so I'm considering a spare one of them. Stepper drivers have been known to randomly stop working or burn out. Even things like stepper motors. Basically, if it has electricity going through it or it's a moving part, it will fail in time. Now I've been through a selection of things that I like to have spare, and the way I tend to buy these is either through a website like AliExpress or eBay, and when something goes, I can either pick it up in the UK, maybe for £4 or £5 for one part, like a nozzle, or I can buy a batch of them for cheaper, but I need to wait a couple of weeks. So what I try to do is have these ready in advance, and when it does break, I'll just go to one of my spare part drawers, grab what I need, disassemble it from the printer, put the new one on, and I carry on with my printing again. If you have enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more videos that I'm doing in the future, please hit the subscribe button, and thank you for watching.